Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today I want to talk about 3 important factors Marvel Rivals players should consider when selecting team compositions. This is especially true in ranked, and if you're a longtime fan of hero shooter games, then some of these concepts will be familiar, but others might be new, especially because they are unique to Marvel Rivals specifically. First and foremost, the meta doesn't always mean that character is the best pick. So there's a lot of reasons for that, and I think good players or players who understand how these games work understand that even though a character might be S tier against the wrong enemy team composition, they are going to struggle even if you are very, very good. And so that is something that I think people are stubborn with. They see that a character is S tier. They'll look at a tier list and see that these are the S tier characters. Those are the only characters that you can play. Whereas if you have a really good B tier character, you can beat a weaker S tier character or a character who is playing into the wrong team composition. And so that's something that I feel like players don't switch often enough when they have the one character that they think is the best, and it's just simply not working. If you jump into the enemy team time after time, you don't necessarily have to switch off of DPS or Duelist or Vanguard, whatever the case may be, but a different swap to a different character might allow you to perform better. And I feel like too often players get stuck in the mindset of this is the best character or this is the character that I'm the best with, so I have to play it. Sometimes you could play on a slightly worse character and perform better because you have the right team behind you and the right team you are facing off against. So that is something that I think players need to get in their minds, because I've far too often seen players really struggle with the good characters in the game running into the wrong opposition. So that's very important. Another factor that I don't think players even look at right now is that a lot of characters have seasonal bonuses. I feel like this is going to be the way the developers are able to balance the game in a way that rotates every season. So if you are selecting a character that doesn't have the seasonal bonus, just know that you aren't getting a buff like these other ones. This is especially true with certain team up abilities as well, which I'll get into in my next point. But those seasonal bonus can be the difference between feeling like you aren't healing enough or you aren't doing enough damage, because duelists get additional damage, the healers get, or the strategists get additional healing, and then the vanguards get additional health. So you're going to see Venom, who you feel like you can't kill, which would normally, according to the Marvel Rivals website, have 650 health, but instead it has 800 health. That 150 bonus health is absolutely insane, and it's something that does play a major factor in what characters are good right now. That's why, again, some of these tier lists are going to be obsolete in just a couple months when we get season 1 and we have other characters that get these bonuses. We have other team ups, potentially new characters as well. And so all of that are factors when you're looking at the right team composition, because if you are playing a character who feels really weak right now and they don't have a seasonal bonus, you might want to keep them on the back burner, try them out in quick play, but save them for next season when they might have that buff. And so it's something that I don't think players are looking at or they even know is in the game. So definitely be aware of what characters get those seasonal bonuses, especially as we head into season 1, and we'll be looking at which characters we think are going to be the strongest. The final thing is going to be the team up abilities, and this is because I oftentimes will see players juggling between which Vanguard they want to play. And say you have a really good Scarlet Witch on your team, then you are more inclined to want to play Magneto for that team up ability. And the reason is Magneto goes from a really good Vanguard character to a great Vanguard character potentially with that team up ability. It is a game changer with how much damage it does. It's just a free extra sword essentially that does a lot of damage over range, and so that is really huge and something that, again, I think players will often overlook. even when I was in comms with some players trying to play ranked, they would not consider the team ups with regards to what characters to play, and we would often see that those team ups could come in handy. For example, one of the ones that I found to be really, really effective, Hela is incredibly strong right now. If you have a good Hela on your team, then having a good Thor on your team will be nice, even if your Thor is not great. Thor is better, I think, as a second tank oftentimes. He does really good damage for a tank, but if you are playing with a good Hela who gets consistent picks, then you can play more aggressive with Thor. You can go into their backline. You can get a kill or two on their strategist, maybe a duelist as well. And then if Hela gets that pick, now you're back in the fight. And yes, the cooldown is long at 120 seconds, but you probably won't need it all that often. And when it's on cooldown, after you do get revived, you can come right back into the fight and then play a little bit more cautious, more like a more defensive tank at that point. And so you can really be flexible in playstyle. That is something that, again, I don't feel like players are considering. Now, I will say the counterpoint to that is if you are bad with a character, if you just don't understand a certain character's playstyle, if it doesn't work for you, then you absolutely should not try to play any of these characters just for the team up, because they aren't going to be able to carry you in the game. So that is a very important factor to consider. But if, say, for example, I am deciding between Mantis or Luna Snow, and I already have a Star-Lord on my team, or say Adam Warlock, I'm playing Adam Warlock or I'm playing Luna Snow, and then I already have a Star-Lord on my team, maybe Adam Warlock is going to be better because then Star-Lord will have that free bonus revive as well. So there's a lot of factors to consider that I think players just want to pick their mains, and I understand that if you have certain characters that you just like to play, but I would advise everybody to go into quick play, go into conquest, go into the practice range, and get at least 3 or 4 different types of characters. It doesn't have to be different strategists and vanguards and duelists, but if you only play melee brawl characters and you run into a team comp that has Penny Parker, it has, for example, Mantis, it has Luna Snow, who can freeze or who can sleep or who can web you, something like that, now all of a sudden you are just getting farmed, and that is something that I see happen far too often. So definitely something to consider. I would definitely keep all these things in mind as you are selecting your characters, because like I mentioned, far too often I feel like players are not looking at the entire picture when selecting the best character for the job. Same thing, if you are playing a attack map versus a defense map, you might want to switch. When I'm playing on defense, I love to play as Penny Parker because I can set up traps everywhere, make it really difficult for the enemy to approach. When I'm playing attack, I might want a shield to get out of the base. Maybe I will run Doctor Strange for my teleport or something of that, the portal or something of that nature. So lots of things to consider, and it's all going to help you in the long run figure out the best ways to have fun, win the game, and also learn what all these different characters are doing. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video, comment, subscribe. My name is JoPa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.